Zach, thanks so much for joining us. A gang in Haiti has kidnapped a group of 17 missionaries, including 3 children. There are 16 Americans and 1 Canadian in the group. They are affiliated with an Ohio-based organization called Christian Aid Ministries. A voice message sent to various religious missions said that the people were kidnapped as they were leaving an orphanage. A message from the ministry group said its field director is working with the U.S. Embassy. Haiti is experiencing out-of-control gang violence following the assassination of its president and a devastating earthquake over the summer. The United Nations Integrated Office in Haiti says at least 328 kidnappings were reported in the first 8 months of the year. Authorities say in some cases, Haitian gangs have demanded ransom payments of more than $1 million. For more on the situation in Haiti, I am joined by Gary Pierre. He is the founder of the Haitian Times. Thank you so much for being here. Why would a gang target this large of a group of missionaries in Haiti?
Well, thanks for having me, Elena. This is what they've been doing because they see it as an opportunity to make money. A large group of foreigners, they deem a high-value asset, and they can get a lot of ransom for it. But one of the surprising things is that, from what we understand, from what I've been told prior, that Americans were really off limits. The gangs were very afraid of abducting Americans. And so this is surprising. I don't know if they knew they were Americans or not, because remember a few months back, several French priests were kidnapped and they eventually were released. But this is the first time Americans, large Americans, white Americans, have been kidnapped in Haiti.
Do we know anything about the specific gang that's responsible for this kidnapping and what type of compensation they're looking for?
Well, so far we don't know how much they're asking. There hasn't been any contact, at least as far as we know publicly. But this gang is notorious. It's called Mabozo 400. It is one of the most aggressive gangs operating out of the Port-au-Prince area. It controls the northern arteries that lead the Port-au-Prince if you want to go to the northern city or the central plateau cities of the Cap Haitian up in the north. And then you have other cities like Fort Liberté and all of that. So basically now what's happening, Port-au-Prince has been cut off in half. There's no way in or out of the capital city. And that's been happening for quite some time. And both intersections from the north and the south are controlled by really brutal, ruthless gangs.
Well, there are also children that are involved in this kidnapping. How, as you said, it's very unusual for a Haitian gang to target Americans. How often or unusual is it for a Haitian gang to target children?
Well, yeah, no one is spared in this situation. The police are missing in action. They seem to be afraid of tackling the issue. As you reported, we have no president. The prime minister is very weak. So basically, everyone, rich, poor, whomever, there's a price for everyone. They've kidnapped street vendors. They've kidnapped journalists. They've kidnapped businessmen. They've kidnapped Haitian Americans, Canadians. And so this is total lawlessness now. We are approaching the real danger zone. If it wasn't bad enough, I think now we're getting to a place of utter chaos in Haiti because people are leaving in droves and the situation is untenable. The Haitian government, such as it is, has to really attempt to deal with the situation. Otherwise, we don't want to think what's next.
I guess that is really the question, because as you're explaining it, gangs in Haiti have, it sounds like, almost complete control. And as you said, the police are missing in action. So what is the Haitian government trying to do to get these gangs under control and stop these rampant kidnappings?
They have done very little. Several months ago, they attempted a raid into one of the stronghold of the gang, and it failed miserably. Okay, police officers were killed. Tanks that were part of the convoy were confiscated by the gangs, and the Haitian government had to negotiate with the gangs to get their vehicles back. And since then, a police officer recently was kidnapped. So this is where we are. Now, the next thing, and I didn't want to go there since you brought it up, is that for the leaders to be in control of the government. And right now, they are de facto government, but at some point, the Haitian government is just going to all of its authority and allow the gangs to rule because they are ruling the country. They give edict. They let people know when they can come out or not. And so this is really a situation that we have to watch carefully. I don't know what the State Department is going to do or what it can do, but Haiti is careening really off the rails.
Well, Gary Pierre, we so appreciate you coming and talking about what's going on.